Hello and welcome to the Idaho Renaissance Fair Gossip Time on the YouTube page. Of course, I am Tyson.
I'm Kathleen.
And we may have another person, but the fun thing about being a 501c3 organization is you just never know who has time to do anything. But
what's the point of gossiping if you have a whole audience?
we're just going to keep it, exactly like the last time. We're going to talk about what we experienced, because from the last video, we had our event.
We did.
And it was amazingly successful.
So busy.
So many people. We had over 10,000 people come through.
Yeah.
And you could really feel it.
Yeah.
And the problem, one of the main problems that we faced and that we heard a lot about was not just parking situation, but the fact that there were other events happening around us. And
yep.
Can't stop Caldwell from being popular.
No, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about this valley and about that area in particular is that it is growing, and Caldwell is booming. It's getting so populated. Hello, my dear. Come on in.
I forgot to tell you guys something that's just fun, but I'll save it to the round circle thing because everyone would like to.
Well, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everyone.
This is Amy. She's going to join us. But yeah, like I was saying, especially with Caldwell becoming with all the vineyards and being kind of, I've heard it called the Napa Valley of the Treasure Valley, which I think is kind of funny. But there's a lot of vineyards, and it's becoming a very popular place for people that want to try various things. And I think having the opportunity to have our event in Caldwell is creating a new experience for us.
Yes. Well, it doesn't help that the area, Boise within the last 5 years was the #1 fastest growing city in the nation.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people that are coming in, a lot of people who've experienced Ren Fairs in other states that want to have that experience again. And ours is unique. There is not another fair, and this is not just tooting the horn and saying, no, we legit have the most eclectic group that comes together. We have furries, and a lot of the posh people are like, this isn't a true Renaissance fair. This is Idaho Renaissance Fair, and we love everybody.
We do. We do not gatekeep.
And we are accepting of everyone and anyone who wants to come and have a good time.
Yes.
Learn a little bit of history and really just enjoy the fair experience in their own way, in the way they're most comfortable doing so. And so what if our patrons don't have the historically accurate costumes? At the end of the day, they're having fun. They're being accepted, they're learning something, and they're having that experience that came out expected.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a lot like teenagers. You'd rather have them in a nice, safe, fun place, than doing God knows whatever they're going to be doing.
And we addressed how amazing, I'm sorry, I popped in late. We addressed how amazing we were taken care of by the people in Caldwell at our venue?
Not yet.
We haven't.
Oh,
they have bent over backwards, and so many people are like, "Why aren't you going to go back to Expo?" Because Caldwell loves us. And we felt the love.
That entire team, even from the beginning, and when you go to a new place, there's a lot of hiccups. There can be miscommunication. You don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But all of it was fairly minor, and everyone was just so happy to work together and accommodate and being so helpful and supportive of each other. It was amazing. I actually wrote a letter to the mayor of Caldwell, an email to the mayor of Caldwell, calling out his team and letting him know exactly what that experience was for us.
That's awesome.
And yesterday I got a response back from him.
No way.
Acknowledging that how happy he was to hear about our experience. And that he was in 100% agreement that Juan Avila, who runs the area, and his entire team are absolutely incredible. He couldn't ask for a better team, and that he was so happy to hear that we had a wonderful experience, and he really looks forward to us coming back to Caldwell for our future events and wants to see us out there.
That's fantastic.
So that is an email that came in to me yesterday that I will forward to everybody.
Yay! I love that. I love hearing things like that, especially from the leaders of the community saying, you know what, you guys have brought a great element, you guys have brought a good atmosphere, and that we were able to bring and infuse an element of positivity into an existing space. And that just makes me so happy.
Well, and the fact Caldwell, like, so in eastern Idaho, everyone talks a little bit down about Pocatello. In western Idaho, for a long time, a lot of people talked down about Caldwell. It was not a great place. It was like, I mean, and having lived in places like Durham, North Carolina, which was one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America at the time, I have no idea what they're talking about. Caldwell wasn't close.
I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm like, but there's not a tent community.
Right.
Drugs. I don't understand what you mean about it being bad.
There's nowhere you can't go.
Yeah.
Like in Durham, I could not go places. I would have died.
Seriously, grew up in and around Las Vegas, Nevada. There are actually legitimately dangerous places that it's like, okay, no, we're just not gonna go over there. We're gonna stay over here. But yeah, same thing. It's like when I moved here, I did not understand people's like, oh yeah, it's Caldwell. I'm like, I don't understand. It's a beautiful place. It's a cute little community. I don't understand the.
And they've got the winter festival. Like they are trying so hard to be the place.
Oh, they're the center for the rodeo.
Well, and everything that they've done to redo the Indian Creek area and all of the walkways and the beautification that they've done of the creek is just wonderful. And they always put on, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but like the really for like December and the holidays, they do this beautiful display with all of the lights and the different like structures.
And
it's gorgeous.
Plus, it's one of those rare towns where it's not small. But you still get that small town feel because the big businesses and things like that, they're in there. You can go there. But they're so intermixed with the mom and pop shops and the niche stores and the specialty stores that you really have a little bit of everything when you go out there. So it's really a good place to visit and to add our unique and fun event to that atmosphere. I think it helps us. I think it helps Caldwell. And I think that people we just need to keep an eye on that town because it's just going to continue to get better if it's grown in the right way.
They're so excited for our next event coming. We've got our Viking Festival, which is in January, which is not far. And we're feeling it. We get it. We learned a lot from the Ren Fair, but Skull is going to be so great, and it's going to be just like our other events, nice and historical. We're going to be able to teach people. We're going to have great entertainment. Like we've got not just fire, but I mean there's going to be a lot going on with it. And we've already got a ton of people from the community just
very excited for it. So what are you most excited for with bringing Skull together? Because this is something that Skull is something that we have worked on this end for a couple of years, just trying to figure out all of the nitty gritty. How do we want this to work? What are you most excited for?
I'm excited to see all the people. Like just everyone in their stuff. I'm working on my own costume. We have one of our friends. He's going to be my brother portrayed in it, and so I have these plans, and so many other people have expressed their plans, and the furs that they're going to wear, and the armor, and we've got a special relationship with a meadery. They're in talks about making a special our event only. I don't know if I can throw that out there, but I'm super excited. You can go ahead and throw it out there
that I've already been in communication with the people that are creating it. They're already looking at recipes and taking into account our special request and working to make that happen as we speak. A specialty mead, a little more potent. That is for our event to our specifications. That is not only a fun, viable option, but also even brings some elements of the spices that were available historically to them into it itself. So even in that aspect, we're drawing a little bit from the culture and what it exists.
That's awesome. That's probably my favorite part that I'm very excited to be able to bring this event to the community, is getting to explore the actual history and bringing the information about, you know, what the different, like what runes mean and what how to pronounce words and how to say names. And we have a gal who's trying to get her PhD, if I remember correctly, that is she's expressed interest in coming and teaching about shamanism and these different things. And I really hope that she actually does, because it would be an amazing element of being able to actually teach and show the history. And that's really what our events are all about, is sharing history.
Well, and pulling the stigma out. Like, yes, okay, the Vikings were a fearsome people that did a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
That's not all they were about.
No.
They had thriving villages. They made the largest wooden vessel for hundreds of years.
Yes.
Successfully.
Yeah.
They were the original Europeans in America.
Yeah. They were the original boat makers. They were the original people who settled.
They would pick up their freaking boats so they could trade with other places people couldn't get to.
Exactly.
And within their villages, they had rich cultures and traditions that weren't just things on the water.
Yeah.
Right, and weren't just violent oriented.
No, they were very successful farmers and shepherds, and they had a very in-depth, very unique culture as a society.
And to be honest, there's it's just one of those that is unique in things like gender roles and things like that too. There was more diversity, and everybody pulled together a little bit more, and they had more of a voice and weren't as dismissive. So it was the input and the amount of culture that came in, given the variety of people within the community that had a voice, just enriched everything to the point that it would be great for us to learn more and educate more about that rich culture and environment that they actually were.
Yeah. No, not just the TV portrayals, not just the physical entertainment behind it. Some of that will, but I mean, there's so much of what they did that still affects us today, just like with the Renaissance Fair. We've talked about so many times the things that were discovered then, like glasses.
Yep.
That was when everything really started to boom.
Who uses those?
Right? Honestly, for driving. But
Wayfinding.
yes.
Like the ways that they navigated still are used in different areas of the world today. And I mean, it's no different than how they would use the night sky in certain areas. They had different ways to utilize the sun with water and their little spindle thing to make it actually viable during the day. And it's like, so there's a lot that
the ways they addressed cleanliness for villages was something that was not standard for the time, but allowed them as a culture and a society to be more generally healthy because of the consciousness of cleanliness and things like that.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned, because I was actually reading, there was a large Norse battle that actually, Northern England, they set off a war with the Vikings.
That's smart.
Well, they knew about the cleanliness. Like, the Vikings had a day of the week that they would clean themselves, bathe and stuff like that. And so the Norse said, you know what's a great idea? We'll attack them then.
I'm pretty sure they would still battle naked.
Right, they did. But I mean, it was a very effective move on their end because they also they had their own morality and stuff, like when people did their own cleanings and stuff like that, and so they attacked when there weren't a lot of men that were in the area doing their thing, and that did not end well. And in fact, when I was reading it, because I want to say this was like, I don't remember exactly when, but the Vikings came down with such hellfire that it was never done again, basically.
Yeah.
That wasn't a smart move. When you live in a society where everybody is a working person who is capable and is contributing to the community, you're going to wind up with a culture and a society of many able-bodied people who are ready to throw down and defend everything they stand for, no matter what time of day and what they are doing. Exactly. And that's what was encountered, I'm sure.
And it was such a bizarre concept for the Anglo-Saxons that were in Britain at that time, for the concept of the shield maidens. Like, that was such a foreign concept to them, because they were like, no, women are supposed to be at home tending babies and making food. And it was so strange for them to have the able-bodied women that could defend themselves and defend their homes and hold their own against the men.
And on top of that, the Anglo-Saxon ones were, at that time even, a classist society.
Absolutely.
Whereas the equality and everybody's on equal ground and you fight and you earn your esteem, but everybody's trying to do that. That's something that they weren't prepared for. That, oh, this person over here that looks like what we would consider a house servant or something can pick up and fight with a sword just as readily as a battle-trained soldier.
And would do so voluntarily.
Voluntarily to fight for their own. That's just not anything they were ready for.
No, and there's records where they would take prisoners and or slaves and they would get integrated into the culture
community.
And they would fight. To keep what they had. Even though it started poorly, it ended with them being a part of the community.
Well, and part of that is because there's documented cases where those people that were taken as slaves were treated so much better that they didn't want to go back to their communities because they were treated poorly.
Because they became part of something.
They became a part of the society.
To become part of the society and contribute to it in a way they never had before.
Right, which was revolutionary. I mean, it was such a big thing. And that's the kind of thing. We're about community. We try using as many local entertainers. Like, we have people all the time. Oh, can you go get this person? Can you go get this person? Well, first off, they're out of budget, so no. But somehow, even if we could, we would want local first. Because we're about building our own community. When we finally get a hard site, we're not looking at out-of-state places. We want to build our stuff here and support our people here.
Speaking of which, we have hit our baseline. We hit our first goal, you guys. Ren Fair got us to our first goal, our baseline goal for the Heart Site Fund.
And it took 7 years. Which is impressive that it only took 7 years.
To be fair, though, the hardest push for that and to really know this is where we need to be has only happened within the last few years.
Right.
So it wasn't as hard a push before, but the travel and the having to move from place to place, and we're getting bigger, and can this place accommodate? No, now we have to move on to somebody else, and are they working with us? Having all of that really come to the forefront with the growth, I think, is what spurned the last couple of years that harder push. And what else can we do to help this goal?
And getting told no.
Repeatedly.
I mean, about
Who
certain
tells us no?
things. Right? Well, it's about silly things. Like, everyone who's going to see this will know exactly what I'm talking about. But mead was one of our biggest sellers at this last event. And we were told by a lot of people, oh, mead never sells, mead never sells. Apparently you don't know this community very well, because not only did it sell, but it was demanded in the years we couldn't sell.
And we didn't even have enough. We went over what our expectations by a lot, and still did not have enough.
We're vastly we were underprepared in ways we didn't know we were going to be underprepared.
So being told no to things that, even if it turned out to be true, it would have been good to find out for ourselves. Because that's honestly how most of our growth has really gone. Is we tried something, it worked great. Oh, that didn't work at all.
Exactly. Trial and error on our part is where we have learned the most about where and in what ways we need to grow. And that's been really hard for some people, but very much a benefit overall and in general, because there's so many aspects of what goes into what we do that without that trial and error on our side, we're just left floundering.
Yep. And before we wrap this up, Kat and I said what we're excited about.
Yeah.
What are you excited about?
Do I really need to say it?
You don't have to.
I
We
mean,
sure
have you
appreciate
met
it.
me? I am excited to explore new aspects of the mermaid look and things like that. Because the Vikings were one of the original cultures that had mermaids. No less than 4 different types of sea creatures that fall into that category. And they were sea spirits, they were blessings, they were actually prayed to before they went into the sea many of the times.
Right.
Yeah.
They were almost godlike in their status and reverence that they had for them at the time. And they had a bit of a different look. I say going for the siren look. They didn't actually call them sirens. There's a whole other different name for them. Once I figure out how to pronounce at least one of those 4 names, I'll bring them to the table. But that's going to take me a minute because they're a little complicated.
Yeah.
But the overall look and feel of them was darker and different. Fundamentally, they were the same. They were the same type of creature, but they're not the playful, endearing thing they can be.
Right.
But they're more of this grand being that had the different look. So that's why we're going with the prosthetics and exploring that different look and that different feel to it that's maybe a little bit more grown up, maybe a little darker. Still kid friendly, mind you.
Right.
We're not eating anyone. As a matter of fact, that was actually not a role that they took back then. They weren't worried about being eaten by mermaids, which is funny because a lot of cultures actually were.
Right.
Most of them were like, oh yeah, be careful because they might drown you and eat you. And almost every single one. But this was not the thing for them. It was more of a magical, mystical being. It had a darker look to it and it was a little bit more serious, but granted them favors and watched the seas and took care of the Vikings and made the determinations on how's your ship going to do and things like that.
Right.
So taking that different aspect of it from a completely different viewpoint than what we've experienced before is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to have a different look to it, a whole different feel. I'm very excited to move forward with it.
So would you say that the sirens of the north might be a little bit more friendly with Jormungandr? You know, the giant serpent that encircled the world and kept the seas in place.
I would say potentially yes, because at least one of those aspects of the mermaid was actually serpentine or dragon-like in the top portion, and they did have a lot of the sea snakes and creatures like that that were incorporated. I can't say for sure that Gazoon type, by the way,
it's
something
Jormungandr.
directly related. I would have to look a little bit more, but I do know there was a lot of the serpent-like aspects and dragons and things like that that pulled into the mermaid lore as well.
That's exciting.
So maybe that's worth looking into a little bit more and bringing to the table as well, because it's a very interesting to see if there's a connection there.
Well, and it makes sense because you think about the creatures that they would have seen normally. Like narwhals are an amazing example of that. They stay right there. They don't travel a lot, so it would have been very... I mean, it would be like the dolphins.
And I imagine they were more
to
prevalent back then than
Pacificers.
they are now, to the point where, I don't know if you realize there's a lot of people that think narwhals are actually made up and not a real animal.
Really?
No
I
kidding.
find them all the time.
They're not unicorns. They are legit. They are legit. And they're amazing creatures. I remember watching Discovery, and there was a whole documentary on narwhals. There's so many things. They're pod creatures, so they have families, and the way that they would actually use their horn
to break through the ice.
Yeah. I mean...
And then you've got things like the Greenland sharks, which look very different from other sharks and things like that. They do have a stranger upper body, and I mean, there's all these creatures that they would have experienced and encountered that we have less seldom today because they're because of lack of population within the communities that they're going to encounter all the time, and they're going to have their stories and they're going to have their explanations, and it's going to be really, really fun to see.
That's really cool.
Well, and seeing
I
where
would
we
love to hear
grow
more about that.
with all of that culture, you know,
Yeah.
as we get to know it better and as
Absolutely.
we integrate it, because obviously there's going to be a lot of growth and a lot of development as we go, and unfortunately we do have most of us that need to get back to our regular
Are we
lives.
out of time?
It's one.
Oh man.
So
Quitters.
we'll be back in December though, because this is going to be a regular thing. We're going to be doing a monthly thing, and the next board meeting we have isn't going to be a 4-hour meeting. So
That's true.
it's going to be a lot nicer, you know, as long as everything goes the way that our plans today went.
As long as the weeks in between can continue to be productive, we'll be fine.
Let's just keep our fingers crossed. And to be fair, this was our first really get down to it, go specific meeting,
true.
and it's the first time we're ever doing it. So there's a
So
lot
it's gonna be more involved.
there's a lot of involvement in this meeting as opposed to other ones. So hopefully we will be a
Yeah.
little bit longer next time.
Yeah.
And post your questions, like things that you want to see at our SCAL event. We know that there's a SCAL International. We actually talked with a person who has a father who is part of that group. And we're trying to get our first year event to be the beginning of many larger SCAL events.
Absolutely.
So leave questions, leave comments, let us know what you're excited to see, what you would like to see, because we take that all into consideration. Not promising anything, but we hope.
We do like to hear what you have to say and love the community feedback.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Even the negative stuff. We can't grow without our lumps. So we hope that your history is as fun as our history. This has been the Idaho Renaissance Fair, and we will catch you on the next one. Huzzah!